Hi, this is Hoppi VR episode number 10. In this episode, I'm going to be fixing my 3D printer, then fixing a few bugs that I'm having, and finally making some tools for Hoppi and trying them out. In the previous video I found out what the basic problem with the 3D printer was, and I bought some parts to fix it. So I haven't done this before, but I'm assuming the way it works is I start the printer, start the PC, download the settings, this thing software can access the settings, then I swap the boards out, I make sure this one's on the latest version. If not, I need to update this one's version. Then I connect it and upload the settings again. I'm assuming that's how it works. And I'm going to start doing that. So I can probably unscrew this and then slowly move everything over. Okay, in theory that should be working now. So I've got no clue what this is going to do, so let's see. Okay. Make a base. Okay, we want a version here. Okay, so already this is different. And about machine settings. Okay, what I want is about 2036. I think that's the latest version. I made screenshots of the machine settings from the Windows machine, and that doesn't seem to be what I'm looking for. I want to get this running with a screen. So the minimum I need here, okay, obviously I don't need the cable, I think is the screen connected and either 24 volts or 12 volts. I just need to check that in here. And then I'll be able to connect to this board and then be able to go to the settings. I'm going to attempt to do that now. Switch this on. Okay, 24 volts. So then I'm going to power the other board with 24 volts as well. So I might have to take this little thing off. And then in theory, if I power this on, I should be able to get the screen. Okay, cool. Screen's the wrong way around. And there I get the menu. Now, can I still touch with this thing on? Okay, cool. So I'm just going to leave the plastic on. I'm just going to turn everything around. First thing I want to do is set about. Okay, 2036. And I want to go to this printer, turn it on. Settings. Right. 2036. Okay, so they're on exactly the same firmware. That's good. So now I don't have to update the firmware. Tool and home. moving. That's moving. That's moving. Please don't move. Okay, so the X, Y, and Z directions are moving. I took the heat bed out and I noticed the negative Y on the connector was discolored, and when I was trying to take the connector off, it was stuck over here. So I think the plastic melted here, so it might have been arcing on this pin. It's also a bit black, if you can notice there. That's the connector, and it obviously broke off there, but you can see the discoloration. And of course I'm still getting the error 6, even though I've got the new board in, so that must have been the problem. So now I've got two boards. So what I can maybe do is use the other board to try to turn this into a 3D printer. All of this junk. But I'd need another power supply. And then the motor controllers I need that I have with the other board would have to work in this board, but I think they do. And what else? Well, I think I'd need another heat bed. I don't. Oh, what is this? This is a. Oh. So it looks like I did. So I already have a heat bed. This is the heat plate, and that's the connector. I cleaned up the connection points. Now the idea that I have is to make a new connector, so I just solder wires onto there, and then I've got this box of connectors I bought quite a while back, and I'm going to use the 4 version, so it's a male and a female connector, and it's got these little plugs. I've never used this before, so I'm going to attempt to use it and see what sort of quality connection it's going to make. So then you end up with that connects in that way. Then in theory, just pushes down, and then you end up with that connection. That on. Can you see the screen? Lift it up slightly. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is go to monitor, click preheat. 1, 2, 3. 27, 28, 30. Okay, let's actually feel the thing. Yes, and it's getting warm. Okay. So I would say this is working. It's now 53 degrees. It gets up to 60 degrees. I had a problem with my end stops, so those are the little switches that when it's homing, it will go all the way to the switches and then home correctly. They were set up wrong. I don't know when that happened because they were set up wrong on both boards, and that was causing one of the issues I was getting. The heat bed's working fine now, everything else is working fine. So I'm just printing a simple door stop. Now that I got the 3D printer working, I can start working on the arms and a few other issues. So one of the issues I want to work on is these connections here are really crap. They're just held in there by, it's not screwed in anything, and these little nuts come out, and then disconnects. So this connection and this connection. So I want to 3D print something for those four and get them held in place properly. That will hopefully stop the arm from wobbling so much. It will probably still wobble, but not as much. When I was driving it around in the previous episode, whenever I slowed down, the back wheel would come up. So what I want to do is just in the motor controller software, when I'm slowing down, only for slowing down, it will slow down slower than it will speed up. So this is the four pieces, and here on this side it's fine because it screws in there, so that works fine. But then on this side there's a sort of like a bearing thing that fits in between these two, and then there's nothing to screw into that side. If I can make a three little circle that holds the nut exactly in the right place and has little indentations into that hole, then that will keep in place. And then when I put this on like that, then I can screw that into the nut. Well, it'll be that way around, and then that should then hold it in place. That's my first attempt. There's a nut. I made it a bit bigger. Okay, that's too big, so I need to make it smaller. And does this fit on here? Okay, that fits in there, but those little circles can be a little bit wider. And then there's this too thick. So there, this is sticking out slightly over there. I need a spot for that. I would say that's way too wide. That's like needs at least 1 mil gone. Okay, there's the next attempt. I do want a squash fit. I might need to just sand this down a bit rather than making it wider. It's a little bit thicker than a nut, that's fine, so I don't need to make it thinner. Does it fit in here? Yep, fits in there. Oh, that fits in there. Then the nut's there. Yeah, that's a nice thickness. And that fits over there. Okay, and then it screws in. And then obviously that would screw in that side. Then can't come out and it's stuck in there and everything's working. Okay, so I'm going to print another 3 of those. So I'm just going to clean them up. And next is take off the 4 joints and replace them, put them back again. And then hopefully that should sort out this arm issue I'm having. So the next arm is just going to be exactly the same thing, just on the other side. So I'm going to do that off camera. All of these are on and they shouldn't come off anymore. I cleaned up the servo cables. One of these cables was slightly too short, so I just added an add-on, and then there was a little kink in the one cable which I just taped over. And I'm just going to do a test on the arms just to double check that I've got everything connected. So then this should switch it on and switch it off. Okay, that's working. Okay, obviously I can't test the VR. Next I'll do a fix on the motor controller, so when it slows down a lot slower. Speeding up I'm not worried about. That's to stop it bouncing off the back wheel every time it stops. I've done 3 changes recently. I've added these connections to the servos to have them be able to screw in. I've made the motor acceleration adjustable so I can stop it bouncing forward. And I've updated the code on the camera streaming, so in theory it shouldn't crash anymore. Now what I want to do is just do a quick test of those three things. I just want to move the arms around. Shaking still sort of there, but it definitely is less. Okay, next. So that's what it used to be. I need to set the password now. Okay, of course this is on a carpet now, so it does require more power to move. I'm going to update this to 9. Okay, that's like way more delay. But it's like way smoother. Okay, that's just way too slow. So, okay, 4 is the default. Okay, first of all, this control is too sensitive. Okay, so that's 6, so I had it on 4. Okay, that's still drivable. Yeah, I'll have to test this on the concrete. Well, that is working. The whole idea is just to check that the code works. I'm going to up the delay a lot. And then when I let it go, then it slowly stops. Okay, so that is working. Okay. So next thing to check is the video. And then I'll turn the head on. Okay, well the camera is still working. The next thing to look at is when the arms go up here and then they like do this funny thing. I did make a block, an area where it's not allowed to move, but when my hand's up here and the pointer's up here, it still moves here anyway, so there must be something wrong with the code. So I've got, the servo can move roughly in this area, and then it's got a reverse version of it which can move in this area. I think something's wrong with that code, the pointing code, so that's what I'm going to look at next. So then what happens is it does something like, so I move over here, and then as you see the back of the arm is basically not pointing to where the green arrow is, it's pointing to where the speaker basically is. Now even though I've made a box there, so you can see here's the box. I can't move within that box. It still moves there anyway. So that's useful. So where the thinner green arrow is, I don't want it to go there. At this point I've made a fix for the arms that was making the speakers. It should not be doing that anymore. So I'm going to be testing. Okay, there. Now I can actually see. Okay. What you do? Okay. I'm going to put my arms on. Okay. Okay, and oops. Okay, so I've got it still set to 255, so it might be a little bit So there's a few things I want to test. First of all, is the arms less shaky? They will still be shaky. Okay. Okay, move a bit back. Okay, what's the driving like? So usually I've got the stopping at 4, the stopping speed at 4, but I've set it to 5 and it's on a carpet now, so I'm just going to look at this back in the recording. The video seems to be working. Anyway. Here's my hand. So I'm just going to forward slightly, not that much. Okay, obviously I've got the speed set at max, where downstairs I had it set to 128, so it's going to be a bit, I'm driving on a carpet, so that's why I'm doing it. Close that and move this way. That's useful. Don't hit the couch. Okay, I'm having the. So what I'm going to test now is if it's hitting the speaker. So that shouldn't be hitting the speaker. Let me just go back a bit. So I don't hit the chair here. Can't just go back. Console. There. Okay. Okay. Now I'm hitting a real chain wheel. Okay, and I want to put the arms away. Okay, I don't have to worry about the arms anymore. And I can just do a test drive. Oops, a bit close. And there. Hey man. Hey man. Meow. Hey meow. Okay. Hey meow. Hey meow. Maybe I should stop talking to the cat because I can't use this in the recording. There's two things on the arms. Okay, so the arms which I've just tested now, I'll look back in the video, and then the arms moving, which I've tested now. The driving, let me just go forward. God, stop turning! Oops. Yeah, the 255 is a bit more, turns a bit quick. Okay. I paused the current video to work on the Halloween videos, and now I finished them and I started putting Hoppi back together again. This broke when I took it apart, so I had to reprint that. I just got to test everything and make sure everything's working. and then I'll carry on with the current video. What I'm planning to do next is make some tools that Hoppi can grab. I want to make like a holder which his hand or claw fits over perfectly. So something that sits in here, and then it can then connect to a fork or a knife. I printed these two parts, the exact copies of each other, and one fits on top of the other. Those holes there are for connecting them and gluing them together, and these 4 holes are for connecting other parts to it. Now how this works is, so this would fit into there. I want to make a few utensils. I want to make a buttering knife or a jam knife. So in order to do that, I want to make the connections folded over here. Okay, so I need to cut these a bit thinner. So I'm just going to take this off and do that. That goes there. The next one, I'm going to do the same exact size. Well, the same length, but I want it to be a spatula, so it's gonna be like a little square over here and then a section down there. There's 2 tools so far. I'm not actually too sure what I should make for the third one. I'm thinking, and then I've got this spoon knife combination, but I really want the spoon. If I put it like that, something like that, where I can pick up and close. First one, second one, and third one. For starters, all I'm going to do is just do a quick test of the arms, because I haven't tested that yet. And then if that all works, then what I'm going to do is try pick up these tools and see if I can move them around. Switch the head on. Okay. Next thing is switch the arms on. What's the head for? That's a wire. The head shaking. So with the Halloween update, I had a problem where the head was shaking. I'm getting the same problem here. It's the same server that's controlling it. Maybe something's actually wrong with that server. I'm just going to switch the head off and then just go see what's going on. I'm going to have to take the head off and then the bottom servo and see what the problem is. Okay, so yeah. I've got plastic everywhere. The cogs look like they're not on there anymore. In order to get this working, I'm going to have to replace the inner white section, which is glued there, so I'm going to have to reprint that part, and I'm going to have to replace the servo in there anyway. So what I'm thinking I might do, just to try to get it to work, is glue it in there with some super glue. If I glue this on and it's still shaking, then I'm going to have to replace everything. I'm going to test again now. If I think that's fixed. Hopefully it doesn't come loose. Let me just quickly do the... So I'm going to switch my arms on. So I've got another problem where my arms are twisting. Yeah, okay. Let me use something else to try. I know the 6 volts. I've unplugged the 6 volts. And I haven't plugged that back in again. Okay, so I know what the problem is. I've got one more problem I can fix. The 6 volts isn't plugged in. I've wired up the 6 volt line again. And hopefully this time I don't have problems. Let me try to go with this one. I might have to go forward a bit. Yep, I'm probably going to have to go forward. So, switch on. Something wrong with it. I'm just too close. Why is the trigger not closing? Oh god, something's falling apart with the head. Okay, let's try with this one. Okay, so yet got another problem. Okay, so I can pick it up and can I put it back down again? And then can I pick it back up again? No, wait, forward a bit. Yes, okay, develop. Alright. Just I need to move slightly to pick that one up. No, not that much. Just move it, sway a little bit. More down. More down. God, this is going to be a mission. Okay, so I've got a problem with the hand. The hand is fixed. Hopefully the screw's back in and hopefully nothing else goes wrong. Switch the arms on. Okay, so this is back to working again. Okay. Then lift both arms up and move forward slightly. Not that much, a little bit back. A little bit back then. Okay. So the main problem is it's hard to judge distance. Okay, a little bit forward. And a little bit more down. A little bit more forward. Okay. that's actually, I'm picking that the wrong way around. I need to pick that up that direction. A little bit back. That's not perfect. So if I do that, so I put it in the bottle, and then I flip it up, then I do that, and then I move it over and put it in. God. Okay, but anyway, so that's not perfect, but whatever, I did it. Can you go out of the way? Okay, so first thing I want to do is pick up the knife. No, wait, let me pick. Too close to do the foot. God, 6. Can I move this more that way? Just wanna. No, not under the table. Stop going under the table, God's sakes. So I'm just trying to move the handle more that way so I can access it. There, go that way. Okay, this has to come out a lot more. I'm under the table. Anyway, let's ignore that. So I'm going to have a problem with two tools right next to each other. Okay. Okay, so if the butt is here, then I scrape it up. God, that's not going to work. Holds it nicely. Maybe chop it up nicely with it. Okay, so this is sort of working out. I just need to change the position of things and see how that goes. I'm going to have so the reason I had this table lower is so I can reach for the jam. I'm going to get rid of the spoon and put a piece of bread there. So if I put the piece of bread there, I'm just going to end up pushing it out of the way. So what I'm going to try to do is just put it on there. Maybe I should just put it over there. So that is cheating a bit. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to pick this up. Let's try not cheat here. So if I can do, just at least give myself some sort of ability. So what I need to do is get this underneath without pushing it. So if I put that there, then I've got the chance of doing that. Okay, cool. So I'm going to put that over there. Switch the head on first. Okay, so head's back on. Switch the arms on. Okay, arms. Okay, can I reach? Go further down and then she's so close. Okay. It's not exactly what I wanted, but if I can then get it underneath there, and then there we go. Not exactly what I wanted to do, but it ended the same result. Get off me, and that way a little bit. Okay, where's my other hand? Can you turn that way more? A little bit back. And turn too much. Still haven't set the sensitivity. Probably miles away. Well, let's just grab the knife. No, look, go forward a bit. Oh god, I jumped. Okay. So let's reset. Oh, whatever. Okay, so I need to go. Is this still connected? No, I think I switched it off. Okay, go a little bit back. So I've set the driving sensitivity down slightly. And what I said is I need to turn. Oh, let me switch it up. Okay, then go forward and turn this way. And go back. Okay, that should be at a better angle if I can get the thing to go back. Yeah. There. Switch the arms on. Arms coming on. Yeah, I only need this on. Did I go too forward there? Don't drop the bloody thing this time. Or further down. No? Okay. No. That's not holding it. No, just get it. Yeah, let's see, the angle's not very tight. Oh, I got some there. Okay, let's pretend I had it on, and then I'd need to turn this that way. This braid idea, I sort of did it, but not perfectly. But it was a good first test. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and thanks for watching, and goodbye.